Hi, I'm Sowjanya S.G.K. and I'm a CA by qualification, and I had the opportunity to work with Deloitte, KPMG, and associate with EY also. I was into full-time academics for about 7 years and also was a practicing CA. My experience with industry and academics put together span over 22 years, and this gave me a first-hand insight about the reality and expectation of both industry and academics. What do I mean about reality and expectation connected to industry and academics? Well, expectation of industry is that they need resources who are having clarity of concepts and practically aware. But the reality is they don't find them, and hence getting a job becomes difficult for students. So students find a big gap between academics and industry. So based on my experience in both industry and academics, I've personally curated a course especially for those students who are aspiring to have a career in finance. And we call it as Finance Role Readiness Program. And the acronym goes as F-RRP. This is very useful for marketing and HR students also, because having a knowledge of business finance is vital for all job streams. In F-RRP, we focus on 3 aspects: clarity of concepts, application of concepts, and articulation of them. Because this is important for you to clear your interviews and also have confidence at your workplace. In F-RRP, we use Excel to help you understand finance and accounting topics which are relevant in the industry, and we have taken it in the context of commerce syllabus. Let us give you a tour of our F-RRP sessions. We are about to witness our F-RRP session where we are explaining reconciliations. Reconciliations are the most common task in jobs, especially in roles of analyst, consultant, executive, associate, assistant, trainee, intern, etc. What is reconciliation? Reconciliation is about matching 2 databases, and the 2 databases don't match, have some differences or variances. Let's try and give you an example of a bank reconciliation statement which you all would have seen as a part of your academics. We are using bank reconciliation statement as an example to teach you reconciliation. This is a bank reconciliation statement. We have a balance as per bank book. We are linking it to a bank book, which is an extraction of a live data. And we are also linking the balance from the bank statement. Now these have multiple rows and columns. And if you see, there is a variance. Now how do we handle this variance? We'll use a VLOOKUP function in Excel and try and match the data. We look up for values which are matching, and the point of reference is check numbers. And we are taking the check numbers and matching from another data source. So we apply VLOOKUP function from bank book as well as from the bank statement. When we try and apply both ways, we try and get those values which are matching. And not just this, after we apply VLOOKUP for both places, we have the next step. Values which are matching and not matching. Now we also try and understand what are my BRS comments or bank reconciliation comments. Now how do we put those comments is something which you will learn in our F-RRP sessions in detail. Now these BRS comments are ready in the bank statement. Likewise, we also put the BRS comments in the bank book, which will help us to understand what we should try and take a summation for. Now for the summation, we are using a pivot table option in the Excel, and this will help us to get a summation of the BRS comments. So the row legends would be BRS comments and the values would be the period balance SAR. So we use a pivot function of the bank book. Similarly, we also create a pivot function of the bank statement. Similarly, row comments and the values. We try and get a summation of all our reconciliation comments. We now link in the format given. As you all know, we have 4 aspects. That is checks issued but not cleared, and checks deposited but not yet credited, and direct credits in the bank, and direct debits in the bank. Here we have two aspects, one with check numbers and one without check numbers. All of this is using Excel functions, and the summations are also automatically arrived because of the pivot function. Now this makes the variance 0. Here if you look, we have used two functions, which is VLOOKUP and pivot. In order to get the comments, we've also used filter, and we've also used options such as sorting or applying more than 0, less than 0. So various of these functions put together is something which we're using in a practical scenario like this. So in this reconciliation example, we're using multiple Excel functions, not just an Excel function. So if you're a student who's also already aware of Excel, you would have used one particular data set to learn a single specific function. Here we use multiple functions, which will help you to be industry ready. Because in industry, you will have a data set where you'll have to apply multiple functions. Now, this is just an example, a glimpse of what we do in our FRRP sessions. In these sessions, we'll cover topics which will help you have a glimpse of finance and accounting areas, which can be analyzing the financial statements, understanding the impact of transactions on financial statements, reconciliation, and so on. Let us also give you tour of the testimonials of how students have enjoyed our sessions. Let's also share some photos of how our sessions would be. We usually conduct it in the computer labs, and every student is having an access of Excel.
I was actually struggling with relating the concept whatever was taught in class because it was too tricky, and I was also skeptical about how it works in the corporate world.
Before joining to this course, I was not having much idea about finance and accounts. Sitting in the boring classes, listening to accounts never fetches you any kind of information.
So initially, before joining this course, I was not really aware of the specific roles, financial roles that I could avail in the corporate field.
We were not having any idea about corporate.
Before doing this program, I had no idea about how finance actually works in the corporate world.
But after joining to this course,
For B-FRRP Finance Role Readiness program,
we have much idea and much knowledge about the corporate, like how the things will be done in the corporate world. When I joined into this program, I understood the value of finance when it is put up into the industries or the corporate world. I am much aware of finance, accounts, like the concepts of BRS, costings, costing methods, budgeting.
So learn many things such as shortcut keys, analyzing financial statements,
and knowing more in depth about the finance.
This bridges the gap between education to the corporate world.
In which we are able to understand the concepts, the finance concepts in the most practical way.
FRRP course helped me to get conceptual clarity on various topics.
After joining it, it helped me to understand the subject in a most practical and efficient way.
Could also relate to the theoretical concepts in a practical manner.
I enjoyed my FRRP session in the most practical way.
I would like to suggest this course to all my friends and all commerce graduate students.
Overall, it is a very good experience, and I would indeed suggest this to students, especially freshers.
I would also like to thank S.G.K for providing such an opportunity.
Now, this was a short information about our sessions called as Finance Role Readiness Program, and in short FRRP. If you have liked these sessions, you should enroll now and get a hands-on experience of understanding the concepts in the most practical way, which will make you industry ready. Hope to see you in our sessions. For more information, you can scan and ask details and reach out to us.